Hi, greetings to Dr. Louis and all of you. Today we are from Group 1, Tessel A, going to present our coursework task 3. Our group members are me, Mama Aiman Aliyuddin bin Muhammad Zulkifli, Muhammad Zaid Irfan bin Muhammad Harith Fadilah, and Khairiah Najwa binti Abdul Razak. So, without wasting any more time, let us proceed with the topic that we have chosen, which is forum. The title is Effect of COVID-19 in Malaysia. Let us get started. Greetings and a very good morning I wish to Dr. Louis and all of you. Welcome to our forum today. As well as we know, pandemic COVID-19 is a current big issue which enable you to think about the topics we had highlighted, and we are trying to solve the issues together by sharing beneficial and interesting idea and thought. So we'll be discuss the effect of COVID-19 in Malaysia. I am sure that everyone here has their own point and view. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. I am Muhammad Aiman Aliyuddin, the moderator for today's forum, and our special guest for today, Datuk Zaid Irfan, counselor in Malaya Child and Psychological Center, and also Datuk Sri Khairiah Najwa, Vice President of Women, Family and Community Development. So today, in this forum, we'll be discussing and highlighting about the topic of COVID-19 impact on Malaysians. Before that, how are you, Dr. Zaid Irfan? You look healthier since the last time we met.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Moderator. I'm in the ping of help. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good, doctor. Thanks for asking. So, next, we move to the gorgeous lady, Datuk Sri Khairiah Najwa. How are you, Datuk?
I am fine. I do not deserve such praises actually. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you to Datuk Sri Khairiah Najwa for answering my question. But before we start, let me explain in detail COVID-19 and how it impacts our lives in Malaysia, especially in the past few years. So what is COVID-19? COVID-19 or coronavirus disease is an infectious disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. COVID-19 pandemic is the greatest communicable disease outbreak to have hit Malaysia since the 1918 Spanish flu, which killed 34,644 people, or 1% of the population of the then British Malaya. In 1999, the Nipah virus outbreak killed 105 Malaysians, while the SARS outbreak of 2003 claimed only 2 lives. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has so far claimed over 30,718 Malaysian lives. You can see how dangerous it is. There were 3 waves of the COVID-19 cases in Malaysia. First wave of 32 cases occurred from January 25 to February 15, 2021, with no death and full recovery of all cases. The second wave, which commenced on January 27, presented cases in several clusters, the biggest of which was the Sri Petaling Tablik. It is a cluster with an infectious rate of 6.5% and making up 47% of all cases in Malaysia. Subsequently, other clusters appeared from local mass gathering and imported cases from out of Malaysia, who is Malaysians returning from overseas. Healthcare workers carry high risk of infection due to the daily exposure and management of COVID-19 in the hospitals. However, 70% of they were infected through community transmission and not well handled patients. In vulnerable groups, the incidence of COVID-19 cases was highest among the age group 55 to 64 years. In terms of fatalities, 63% were reported to be aged above 60 years, and 81% had chronic comorbidities such as diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. The predominant COVID-19 strain in Malaysia is strain B, which is found exclusively in East Asia. However, strain A, which is mostly found in the USA and Australia, and strain C in Europe, was also present. To contain the epidemic, Malaysia implemented a movement control order (MCO) beginning on March 18, 2021, in 4 phases over 2 months, ending on May 12, 2021. In terms of economic impacts, Malaysia lost 2.4 billion a day during the MCO period, with an accumulated loss of 63 billion up to the end of April 2021. Since May 4, Malaysia has relaxed the MCO and opened up its economic sector to relieve its economic burden. Currently, the best approach to achieving herd immunity to COVID-19 is through vaccination rather than by acquiring it naturally. There are at least two candidate vaccines which have reached the final stage of human clinical trials. Malaysia's COVID-19 case fatality rate is lower than what it is globally. This is due to the successful implementation of early preparedness and planning. The public health and hospital system, comprehensive contact tracing, active case detection, and strict enhanced movement control order during the 2021. It is quite helpful and it can avoid the cases from increasing. But right now, it looks like it is worsening a little bit. The majority of those infected with the virus will have mild to moderate respiratory symptoms and will recover without the need for medical assistance. Some, on the other hand, some people will become critically unwell and require medical assistance. Serious sickness is more likely to strike the elderly and those with underlying medical disorders such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, chronic respiratory disease, or cancer. COVID-19 can make anyone sick and cause them to be very ill and die at any kind of age. So, let us take a look on the main effects of this COVID-19 in Malaysia. As all of us know, in Malaysia we have many kinds of celebrations such as Eid al-Fitr, Chinese New Year, Deepavali, Hari Raya, and many more. However, due to the worsened last year's pandemic, we have not been able to celebrate the festival with our family members and our loved ones. The most sad part was that people who live in the EMCO area or Enhanced Movement Control Order must stay at home regardless of any excuse. Yes, the police and army surrounded their home area and they cannot go anywhere. They only have to stay within their own area. And yes, that's true. It is very disappointing. It is very saddening to see them. They are also very stressful and depressing. But what can they do? They have to obey and they have to follow the rules. And we can see from social media and news, they are very complained from them. But yeah, we have to obey from letting the virus keeping worsen. The pandemic has altered almost every aspect of our lives, from how we work to how we interact with other people in society. One such occasion for Muslims in the country is the celebration of Hari Raya or Eid al-Fitr in May last 2020. Yes, many people agree that MCO is for our own good. Yes, it is true. Despite the pandemic, people have found novel ways of celebrating the festival with their loved ones. The Malaysian government extended the Movement Control Order (MCO) from 10 May until 9 June. However, with some easing restrictions, under some circumstances, it was allowed for small gatherings of up to about 20 people for festive celebrations of Hari Raya to be held, but cross-state travel was still off the table. You can celebrate it but only in your area. For a lot of people, Hari Raya is the time of the year, which means you're getting together with your family and friends and going all out on festivities. But that time, which is the last year, it was different for all of them. Raya bazaars will usually be set up everywhere selling cookies and clothes. The streets will be filled with people making preparation for festivals, but last year the story was totally different. Not only that, due to interstate travel restrictions during the MCO, many people agreed that it is not fun to celebrate Eid in town because those who live in town or city, they have to celebrate it in their own town and city. Same circles, same people, same faces they used to see every single day. It feels very different and isolated. Many people miss all the rituals associated with the festival, from the pre-Raya house cleaning to making cookies to the walk with family members that we usually take after prayers at the mosque, which is Salat al-Fitri. One of the most important rituals that was seeking forgiveness from each other felt very different to everyone, including us. We usually kneel down before a parent to seek for forgiveness. Yes, we still can do that last year. We still can seek for forgiveness from them during the pandemic. But it was only on the computer screen. There is barriers that separate you from them. However, we should be thankful to the technological advancement that allowed us to speak to our loved ones for hours together, especially during the Raya season, Raya festival. Many people felt sad of Raya 2020, not only because of Raya but also the celebration of Chinese New Year, Deepavali. They cannot celebrate it with their family members. So it is very, very not exciting. I think I could say that overall it is very sad and disappointing. So now let's move to the Dr. Zaid Irfan. Doctor, I want to hear your opinion, and I would like to hear your opinion so much on what are the causes and effects of this COVID-19 pandemic situation from your point of view as a doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for the detailed explanation on what is the COVID-19 pandemic. So, the occurrence of the COVID-19 pandemic had severely affected the life of Malaysians. First, let's talk about its effects on Malaysian festive celebrations. People can't visit their loved ones freely anymore like they used to be, and must spend most of their time with the family member at home. And there are also people that had spent their time during the festival holidays all alone. The life of Malaysians in 2020 has also seen a dramatic twist with the COVID-19 as the diabolical nemesis. All the exciting festivals that everyone would look forward to in 2020 can no longer be experienced that year, as public gatherings could only worsen the spread of COVID-19 virus. The impact of festivals in 2020 has been quite saddening, as all the fun and frolic that comes with a festival in Malaysia would not happen. Some of its impacts has been positive, such as the improvement of the quality of environment. But most of it has been so negative that we cannot even deny it. It has as it has become a stressful time for many people. The old ones that could rarely see their children had put high hope in seeing them during the festival holidays like Hari Raya Idul Fitri, as usually everyone would return to their hometown to celebrate it. For sure, they all really wanted to see their family more frequently, especially being an elderly. Being all alone during one of the most important times of the year while not being able to see our family members that we had been longing to see surely will make everyone sad deep inside their heart. Not only that, those people that have no other choice but to stay at home all alone will surely be more depressed. Aside from that, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a substantial influence on the Malaysian economy, resulting in currency depreciation and a drop in the country's GDP. Malaysia's economy shrank by 5.6% in 2020, its weakest since its weakest year since the Asian financial crisis of 1998. In 2021, the country's GDP is predicted to increase from 6.5% to 7.5%. The pandemic has a negative impact on several vital industries, including entertainment, markets, retail, hospitality, and tourism. Postal and courier services are one of the least affected industries. Furthermore, all enterprises must comply with the government's SOPs, which have impacted their operations. During the FMCO 3.0, the government has lost 1 billion ringgit each day. Travel restrictions and consumer risk aversion have a significant impact on all tourism related industries. Financial market volatility has increased as a result of many external risks. The majority of enterprises' sales and revenue have decreased, posing financial and cash flow issues. As of May 1, 2020, 67.8% of the total 4,094 Malaysian businesses have reported no sales or revenue during the MCO period. Due to the severe weather conditions, supply disruptions in the commodities industry have continued, as have maintenance and MCO SOPs. In January 2021, the unemployment rate had risen to 4.9% to reduce movement. The government is encouraging Malaysians to shop online, which has resulted in 40% increase in online sales of fast-moving consumer products. Malaysians are increasingly becoming accustomed to contactless payment systems that do not require cash. Other than that, COVID-19 pandemic has also affected Malaysian education severely. Due to the Movement Control Order MCO, the teaching process needs to be carried out through online learning, be it schools or higher education institutes. All of it need to carry out the online learning. This has become quite a problem because most of the educational institutions were not prepared to drastically change its teaching methods to go fully virtual. Not all students in Malaysia had sufficient access to internet and internet enabled devices, and as a result could not attend all of the online classes. Teachers had sent had to send physical worksheets to their kids in more extreme circumstances, such as the orang asli youngsters, but were unable to conduct proper assessment due to lack of resources. While the reduction in academic performance is expected to be severe, the implication on children's psychological development have yet to be considered. Schools, according to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, serve as the centers of social activity and human contact. Long-term school closures have thrown a wrench in this, affecting academic performance and personal development. Students of all ages have had harmful effects on their social abilities. Students who failed to keep up with online learning were unable to keep in touch with friends and instead isolated themselves. These kids will lack skills such as the capacity to communicate, interact, and problem solve in a group context, which could hinder their ability to succeed in the workplace. Transitioning students from primary 6 to secondary 1 are especially vulnerable. Many of them may become quiet or lack of confidence if they are not surrounded by their peers.
Wow, that is a very clear elaboration, Dr. Zaid. But I think I want to know, and I think all of the audience also want to know. Apart from that, what do you think is the effect of COVID 19 on mental health? Since mental health is also one of the most important issue right now. Please, doctor.
The COVID-19 pandemic had become a big contributor to mental illness and depression to many people. Some even vent their overwhelmed anger or depression to their own family members. This situation happened to be really sad as many people are suffering because of it. There are also people that suffered severe depression that they even gave up and ended their own life. As the variety of festival celebrations in Malaysia had long become one of the attractions of Malaysia, the tourism sector also had been affected. Many people lose their job, and for the business owner regarding tourism, they can't even manage to make enough profit, especially during the MCO period. Not having enough money while facing such depression would make everyone lose their excitement even for the festive seasons. The vibe that used to be full of happiness and excitement now only left with sorrow and despair. Besides that, not only adults that are facing such pressure, students from all educational institutes also felt the pressure from online learning. Alongside the lack of social interaction, online class structure can affect teens and adolescents in number of ways. For example, they may feel heightened anxiety about keeping up to date with their schoolwork. Other teens may experience difficulty concentrating or staying focused while being at home. For some adolescents and young adults, being in front of others on video can lead to its own anxieties. Students may find it difficult to receive the extra educational support they need to succeed. There are many causes that have led to these horrific consequences, such as the strict SOPs and the Movement Control Order (MCO). These regulations could not be avoided as it functions to decrease or even to stop the spread of COVID-19 virus. The MCO has stopped people from traveling to another state or even to another district in some area that has severe cases of COVID-19, thus not allowing people to visit their families that are living from afar. Even in the neighborhood, people were not allowed to celebrate any celebration I'm sorry, they were not allowed to celebrate any festivals with one another to avoid creating new clusters of COVID-19 cases. People were scared to risk the life of their families and had to stay at home for the sake of everyone. On some occasions, the celebrations that were allowed to be held in public also happened to be not the same as they used to be because of the SOPs that need to be followed. This situation also has stunted many businesses that has resulted in many people to lose their job. COVID-19 had become a major hindrance in our lives, not only during the festive season, but also in many other ways.
Oh, that is indeed really worrying. Can you tell us the actions taken by the government of Malaysia and Ministry of Health to overcome the COVID 19 situation? Please.
Hmm, Malaysian citizens did not initially realize how deadly the virus is. On January 25, 2020, Malaysia showed no intention of banning travelers from China. Although China had already quarantined the entire population of 11 million in Wuhan due to the deadly virus. Malaysians were also not well prepared to fight the pandemic because mainly because of the political crisis that was happening at the same time, and also because they were assured that the virus would not spread easily in Malaysia. However, with the number of positive COVID-19 cases in Malaysia increasing in less than a week from 99 on March 8 to 200, with the first two deaths reported in mid-March, Malaysians began to panic. Consequently, the government took many steps to alleviate the mass panic and protect the health of Malaysian citizens. The Ministry of Health played a crucial role in ensuring maximum readiness to contain the spread of the virus. Among the earliest efforts taken by the Ministry of Health to prevent disease transmission was the enforcement of health screening at all points of entry. According to the Director General of Malaysian Ministry of Health, Datu Dr. Noh Hisham Abdullah, one of the strategies was the placement of thermal scanners. This was done to further enhance the detection of fever amongst tourists or locals returning from abroad. Malaysians who returned from Wuhan were screened, identified, and isolated in special quarantine areas for COVID 19. These measures also involve airline crews as well as the staff of the Ministry of Health. The subsequent key step taken by the Ministry of Health along with the government to overcome the spread of COVID 19 was to increase the number of hospitals that could treat COVID 19 cases. There was also a group effort between public and private hospitals to accommodate the growing number of cases of infection, comprising university hospitals and Ministry of Defense hospitals. To enhance the Ministry of Health efforts in keeping the spread and mortality under control, a Movement Control Order (MCO) was implemented on March 18, 2020. The MCO related to the restriction of movement of people into or out of an area. The Director General of Ministry of Health emphasized that the order enforced came under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Disease Act 1988 and the Police Act 1967 and would help to control the spread of the virus. This step was significant as the situation in China had proved that by isolating the infected group of individuals and practicing social distancing, the pandemic could be contained. Moreover, an alliance involving 38 professional medical societies was established on March 1, 2020 to support the Ministry of Health in the area of healthcare. The intention of this coalition was to keep the community well informed and to ensure that information made was available, I'm sorry, to make the information made available was true and accurate.
Very nice one. Thank you so much, Dr. Zaid. That was a very clear and steady elaboration. Now, let us hear Datuk Sri Khairiah Najwa's opinion. Datuk, what do you think we could do in order to adapt with these problems caused by the COVID-19, especially during the festive season? Please, Datuk.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I think there are various ways we could do in order to adapt to these problems. It is definitely worth saying that adjustment and adaptation are not always easy. This time we are going through is certainly rough. Since the start of the pandemic, there has been an increase in the number of people reporting disturbance, an increase in the amount of liquor sales across the nation, and the number of people utilizing mental health hotlines. While humans are resilient, we are also human. It's important to recognize that this time is super stressful, to understand the effects of such stress on the human body and psyche, and to help yourself adapt in a positive way. A year after the COVID-19 pandemic emerged, we have suddenly been forced to adapt to the new normal when celebrating in festivals. Some events lend themselves naturally to a digital approach. Live streaming music recitals, plays, and comedy nights staged under socially distanced conditions is a good way to open up events to more attendees. Quizzes, online gaming events, virtual exhibitions, and even virtual escape rooms have all been increasingly popular under lockdown. Even relatively static activities can be made more interactive by introducing online polls, quizzes, or moderated chats. There are some hygiene principles that are essential for any public interactions, especially during a celebration or festival. You must always ensure that you have a mask covering your face. Additionally, in the name of healthy choices, you must ensure that your hands do not make contact with the inside of your mask, as the point of wearing the mask is patent. Given the occasion, you might end up interacting with more than one person. You must always keep your hand sanitizer ready. You might also want to keep a separate bottle of it to offer others, so that they do not end up coming in contact with your personal bottle. For public festivals such as Diwali or Christmas, there are some practice you could do in maintain the order to make healthy choices, consume healthy food, and maintain good health. While for bigger celebrations, you have to avoid the public one. Even as places as worship and public space are gradually opening up, it would be the best interest of your health to try and avoid such spaces for reckless enjoyment. Participating in public celebrations in crowded spaces will exponentially increase the risk of you contracting the virus. Next, consider those around you. While you might be the optimum age to not be adversely affected by the virus, contracting it still makes you a carrier, and you could pass it on the others around you, including your family members. In is essential to practice self-care if you have elderly members, such as grandparents, living with you. Finally, don't overdo it. While the public rhetoric seems to be the condemnation of those recklessly flouting COVID-19 rules, paying too much of a sticker to the point of paranoia could have significant negative effects on your mental health. While it is essential to practice actions, isolating yourself from the world might be counterproductive. The trick is to strike a balance between celebrating with loved ones while also ensuring that you make healthy choices. Online celebrations are a great way to ensure that you stay connected whilst keeping safe. In just a few weeks, the novel coronavirus outbreak has changed the way thousands of companies operate in unprecedented manner. As business owners and employees navigate the new normal, Here are some of the ways they have adapted to stay operating amid a global pandemic. The COVID-19 outbreak has delivered an indiscriminate blow to business, as everything from small restaurants to multinational corporations have been forced to change how do they work amid a series of shutdown orders to help stem the tide of virus. They have also had to implement this massive organizational change in just a matter of weeks to attempt to stay afloat, with many companies shifting to full-scale working from home plans and others going all in delivery. First of all, teleworking takes over from everything from meetings to yoga classes. Social distancing measures and government-mandated stay-in-place orders have led to entire companies moving their workforce to working from home, leading to a skyrocketing demand for video conferencing software such as Zoom. In addition to being used for meetings, workers in the health and fitness sector have also used the software to stream live workout or yoga classes. The teachers also have turned to the platform for remote learning lessons. For restaurants and delivery, the same new directives that are forcing thousands to work from home have led to a sharp uptick in demand for delivery services, especially in the food and grocery sector. While the coronavirus-induced economic crisis has led to skyrocketing unemployment numbers, the delivery companies are booming. Many also announced they are hiring hundreds of thousands of workers, while other companies are facing mass layoffs. Instacart announced late last week it plans to hire a whopping 300,000 additional full-time shoppers over the next 3 months to meet the increased demand. Amazon similarly said it will hire 100,000 full and part-time positions at fulfillment centers and delivery networks across the world. Pizza delivery giants such as Pizza Hut, Domino's also said they are hiring a handful of places, including like New York City, have also mandated restaurants and other gathering places such as bars only do take-out service for the time being. In terms of mental health, for decades, the prevalence of mental health conditions has been broadly unchanged. This trend changed in 2020 with the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. From March 2020 onwards, the prevalence of anxiety and depression increased. For example, in Belgium, France, Italy, Mexico, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and the United States, prevalence of anxiety in early 2020 was double or more than double the level observed in previous years. While in Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, and Czech Republic, Mexico, Sweden, the United Kingdom, and United States, prevalence of depression in early 2020 was also double or more than double the observed in previous years. Therefore, take care of yourself. Attending to your mental health and psychosocial well-being while caring for patients is as important as managing your physical health. Next, feel free to feel your feelings. You and your companies are likely to feel immense pressure given the potential surge in care demands, risk of infection, and equipment shortage, among other stresses. Experiencing stress and the feelings associated associated with it are by no means a sign of weakness or a reflection on your ability to do your job or school. Put it into practice strategies that have worked for you in the past during the times of stress. This can include getting enough rest and finding respite time during work of between shifts, eating meals daily, healthy food, and a schedule, engaging in physical activity, and staying in contact with appropriate social distance with family and friends. Don't forget to perform regular check-ins with yourself. Monitor yourself for symptoms of depression or stress disorder, such as prolonged sadness, difficulty sleeping, intrusive memories, or feelings of hopelessness. Talk to a trusted colleague or supervisor. Also, be open to seeking professional help if symptoms persist or worsen over time. Take breaks from the news and social media. Other than that, make a regular habit of stepping away from your computer and smartphone from time to time. Other than that, when returning online, focus on information from reputable sources, not just sources in your social media feed. You don't have to take everything in produced by a 24/7 news cycle and also be fortified by remembering the importance and meaning of your work. Remind yourself that despite the current challenges and frustrations, yours is a noble calling. Take care of those in a time of great uncertainty. Make sure to take time to recognize the efforts and sacrifice made by your family. Together, we are all stronger. That's all from me. Thank you.
Wow, very nice elaboration from Dato' Khairiah. And yeah, thank you so much to both of you, Dato' Khairiah and also Dr. Zaid Irfan, for a very clear and nice elaboration from both of you. I think all of our audience here is very mesmerized to hear what you are saying, and it is very informative. So I can conclude in the conclusion, despite the fact that COVID-19 is a worldwide pandemic, the epidemic's manifestations may vary from nation to country. Depending on the vital genetics, sensitive populations, the factors reaction to crisis, and the behavior of the populace, this might be a contributing factor. The information we have provided here on the epidemic's issues on and Malaysia's response is meant to serve as a resource for others. With little resources, Malaysia is struggling to deal with the situation. However, the nation was able to overcome the first wave of the pandemic because too strong collaboration between government institutions and the population in Malaysia. However, the third wave proved to be more difficult. But I think we can say and right now it is quite under control. Hopefully, really hopefully, Malaysia will be able to stave off the outbreak since the vaccination already arrived and many of Malaysian population already got their vaccine. So we wish that Malaysia will be better and this COVID-19 will extinct and go out from Malaysia and every single countries as soon as possible. That's all from us. Thank you.